Wanna talk? So let's talk. Yeah. Talk. You wanna talk? You gotta talk, you need to talk. News talk.
I talk, you talk to Solomon. I talk, you talk to Solomon. Yeah, let's talk to Solomon. Talk to Solomon.
You gotta talk, you wanna talk.
The latest polling data says that 53% of the American people say Barack Obama does not deserve to be reelected. Only 40% believe he does deserve to be reelected. And really, that's what we're talking about. Will we have Barack Obama to destroy America for 4 more years and complete the job he started? Or will we have Mitt Romney, who has made certain statements that say we should go in a different direction, and specific 59 points pointing out what he would like to do? We have with us Jessica Bradshaw. She is the Republican candidate in Texas's 34th district. She is a conservative constitutional Republican. Would be her first time serving. Jessica, do you believe that government is too big, too expensive, too invasive, and needs to be dramatically reduced?
Stan, I do believe that, and this unfortunately will probably be the last question I can answer. I've got something that just came up. But it is too big. And again, as we spoke earlier, we've been much too dependent on it. And what people need to understand is the more we depend on it, the more it's going to cost us. And during the, I believe that if it wasn't during the convention, it was earlier on, and it may have been Paul Ryan who said that if they could reduce government to 20% of our GDP, that's what they were going to aim for. I think that would be wonderful to be able to do that. And so it really starts at home with the individual changing their paradigm, that they're not going to be expecting as much from the government.
Right. I think he said everything will be free but us. And I think that was well said. Jessica, thank you for being with us again. It's TexansForJessica.com, folks.
Yes.
You can make a difference. Enough people listen to this program. We could make a difference for Jessica Bradshaw. Make sure she's elected. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Stan. Thank you, everybody, for having me. It was wonderful.
Our pleasure. All right, let's go to Greg. Greg, I'd like your comment on the size of government, because to me, when in 2008, when under the so-called stimulus, why am I hearing myself come back here? I don't know. That's on Greg's. All right. In 2008, the size of government was increased by 25%, literally in one fell swoop. This is a crisis. The world was going to end. We had to do it, but it was supposed to be for 1 year. You know, we've increased the size of government. We made that 25% increase the new baseline and have increased it based on that. Why don't we just go back to 2008 levels? That would reduce the cost of government to less than 20% of GDP. Greg?
Well, of course, then you can't buy as many votes, and then you can't solidify your power, and you can't, of course, then impoverish the people who are trying to produce. So, therefore, it doesn't fit into the Marxist fascist system that Obama wants to put us under. All that was done, as you so aptly point out, I think you were saying 25%, again, my audio is a little bit bad, was to do all those things, to create more government dependency, to speed up the crushing debt. Again, going back to the movie 2016, if you want to destroy a nation, destroy it with debt. And that is exactly what's going on. There is no more fitting tribute to the DNC's convention tonight than the debt clock is probably, I haven't looked at it, but it's probably ticked over to $16 trillion in U.S. debt at this point. I can go and look at it, but I'm afraid to burn any bandwidth at the moment. But I'm guessing that we're probably at 16 trillion right now. That means that in the last 3.5 years, we have added more debt under this one presidency than ever in any single presidency in the history of the United States. This is a president who said of George Bush's spending, which I was screaming about. It was unpatriotic for him to put that much debt on the country. Yes, it was. But now, Obama seems to be competitive in all things. Well, he was not going to be outdone by George Bush. He proved George W. Bush to be a piker.
Exactly. George Bush added $4 trillion in 8 years. He's added $5.3 trillion in 4 years, eclipsing anything, everything, and all things ever done prior, just as you pointed out. All right, let's, well, first of all, Chief.
Well, just quickly, Greg's the financial wizard, but government doesn't have any money. The only money that it has is what it takes from us.
Or creates out of thin air.
Well, and it will never make a profit. So they can print money, but it's worthless. But saying that, the government has now gotten us into a tremendous amount of debt, but also all of the government employees that we have, every single employee, we pay their salaries and we pay their pensions. And so the more government employees that we have, the larger is our burden, and the larger is our burden for years to come, and our children's burden for their pension plans, etc.
You mentioned the DNC, the Democrat National Convention. I am not a Democrat. To be fair about this, folks, I think Democrats are created by God just like the rest of us, and therefore I can't judge people's hearts, but you can judge their actions. And their actions are to destroy anything, everything, and all things moral, ethical, and patriotic. Now, just to give you an idea, there's a big thing now, the Democrat convention, because they're having as a speaker a Democrat operative whose name was whatever it was, the one that got Rush Limbaugh for a minute in trouble, the one that said that we should pay for her birth control, her $9 a month, so she could screw as many people she wanted on us. He called her a slut. Sandra Fluck. Yeah, you got to be careful how you pronounce her name. But anyway, Sandra Fluck has started a new movement at the DNC, which has been embraced by Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, and all things leftists. Ready? It's a button that says, sluts vote. Can you imagine? Sluts vote. And they also emote. That is everything evil, awful, and disgusting. If you want to fornicate with all things, everything, and anything, God bless you. Just stay out of my sight, and stay out of my life, and stay out of my view, and stay out of my pocket, and screw yourself to death if that makes you happy. It's not what I want for you. It's not what God wants for you. But if that's what you want, but for the other major party in this country to embrace sluts vote. Hey, if you wear a button that says I'm a slut, how could you then argue if anyone wants to force you into having sex? Although no one should play a trick on their Nixon like that. But the question is, what would be your defense? You don't want it? You're not asking for it? You're not advertising for it? Oh, I know. You should be able to say, yes, I agree. Is there any reason for a man to feel it's okay to forcibly have sex with a woman? No. Is there any reason for a woman to think she should forcibly have sex with a man? No. Is there any reason for a man to think he can forcibly have sex with another man? Or a woman with another woman? No. I agree with that totally. But if you identify yourself as a slut, in my opinion, you have asked for God to write you off. That makes you a moron. Chief?
Well, I just think about at the Republican National Convention, there was a moment when they had a group of Olympic athletes on stage, and they told some great stories, and they gave a great impression, but I'm thinking about the difference in attitude. So here is a group of people that are going for the goal, going to make themselves better, going to be the best they can possibly be in the right manner, where the Democrats are going for the gutter. And so, as for an example for America, example for our children, I just believe we should have our children striving to be Olympic champions rather than sluts in the gutter.
Planned Parenthood has a party called Sex, Politics, and Cocktails, an official event at the Democrat National Convention. Greg?
Well, don't get me started on Sandra Fluck. Here's a woman complaining about $9 a month for birth control while she goes to a $45,000 a semester college, has a rich boyfriend who runs her off to Europe for her little, I don't know, sexcapades, whatever the case may be. There is nothing more disingenuous on the planet. Now, for this party, this Democrat Party, we talked about this earlier, what a horrible example Obama is. The total lack of responsibility. This is just sickening. Now, Planned Parenthood, okay? I'm pro-choice. The choice occurs at the moment of conception, not afterwards. A man has no rights other than to say, no, I'm not going to engage in sex. A woman has apparently the right to engage in sex.
As to whether or not to have a child.
Yeah. The man has a choice not to have a child only by not engaging in sex. A woman has a right to engage in sex and decide later on, oh, I don't want the child, or I can have the child, and then I can hit the man with the child support. Okay? This is all insanity, but the bottom line is let's get back to what Planned Parenthood is. Planned Parenthood is based on a racist, progressive system that was designed for eugenics and genocide. And if you'll go to gregwhoward.com, I've got an article that details the whole history of Planned Parenthood, the numbers of deaths, the actual quotes of Margaret Sanger as she met with the KKK. There is absolutely no reason anyone in this country should be supporting Planned Parenthood, and there's no reason the Democrat Party should be aligned with Planned Parenthood, and any person who thinks that Planned Parenthood has any other purpose other than to clean out the weeds of society is insane.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that you've been mildly critical of them. I would go further. I would tell you that if you are in any way, shape, or form a supporter of, a fan of, a proponent of, an employee of, a volunteer at Planned Parenthood, you are not only racist, you are not only anti-Semitic, you're not only anti-God, you're not only anti-humanity, you're Satan's disciple. And even if you're godless, you're still Satan's disciple. And there's nothing more evil in the history of the human race than the proponents of Baal who sacrificed babies. And that's all this is. It's sacrificing the most innocent of all of us, because when you can do that, you certainly can commit a Holocaust like happened under the Nazis, or under the Pol Pot, or under Mao, or under Stalin, because once you say that humanity is of no consequence, you can do anything to any human at any time with comfort. And I think that's the word that no one wants to use. If you believe in choice, in killing an innocent child, you're comfortable with spitting in God's face and killing God's creation. And you deserve God's wrath. And I don't know you, luckily for you. But I believe that if God so decides, He will take you and send you to hell, where you'll be aborted every hour on the hour for eternity. And that's the least that you deserve.
No, you made a great point, Stan. It reminds me that the whole Sandra, whatever her name is, Fluck controversy is about contraceptives, but not really. It's just that's the bait and switch part of this whole discussion. The biggest threat to abortionists is Christianity, and so the Sandra Fluck issue was to force the churches to abandon religion and provide contraceptives to people and invite us to religion. Once you get rid of Christianity, the path to abortion is very easy.
But once you get rid of Christianity, the path to everything is fine, because now you're back to what used to exist in the world, as Dr. Keyes pointed out, and he'll be with us here in about 15 minutes. You will have an environment where those who are in charge determine the very fact whether you'll live or die, whether you'll be born or not born. It's all done by humans, because God is not in the equation. That's what they're striving for. All right. I'm going to talk about gas for just a moment. I'm not a math major, but I'm pretty good at it. If you remember back when gas was $4.20 or thereabouts, maxed out, oil was $147 a barrel. Now gas is $4, $3.99, and oil is $104 a barrel. Does anyone have a problem with any of this? Greg?
I have a huge problem with it, and it's all because we have, ever since there has been a Department of Energy, had a policy that has done everything possible to ship as many dollars as we can out of the United States in a planned and programmed impoverishing of the United States to enrich other parts of the world for oil when we are sitting on more oil than the rest of the world. We have untold resources. Every time they turn around, they're finding another oil or gas resource in the United States. Obama says, yes, we've approved more drilling permits than any other administration in history. Yes, but he has also blocked every possible means of moving those resources across the country. He's also blocked every chance of drilling for it in the Gulf. We've got Chinese drilling for more oil in the Gulf recently than we have. At the same time, he has sent $2 billion or more to Brazil so that they could develop their oil resources, but we're not developing our own. Yes, I have a problem with oil and gas prices going up here when we really have the means to be energy independent, except for one problem: the fool in the White House.
And his cast of characters. One of the things that Romney said that I liked, and Romney was not my pick in the primaries, but Romney has said, and Ryan has said, we are going to become energy independent. He's going to replace Carol Browner, who's a whatever you want to call her, a crazy person, and he's going to put at the EPA the kind of people that will help us to get the job done, not find reasons to stop the job from being done. Chief?
Well, first of all, the EPA should be abolished, but I've thought a lot about all of these different programs. Greg mentioned a point about China and Brazil. Also in the movie 2016, De Souza described how Obama has stopped us from drilling in this country, but sent money, our money to China and to South America for them to explore and produce more oil production. But the Obama administration has stopped everything, but I don't think anybody can come up with a plan that's going to help our energy production. I think the answer to this is to get everything out of the way. Get rid of the laws, get rid of the regulations, get rid of the taxes, and see what happens. And then that's the only way I believe it's really going to have a chance to produce oil and gas properly in this country, because if anybody has a plan, it's going to fail because it's just going to get in the way.
All right. Barack Obama, who's been exposed for what he is, an incompetent, token Negro or half Negro, in order to say that we're not prejudiced. And there's reason to say we're not prejudiced. I can't argue that. But this egotistical maniac has said, I want to have 74,000 people in a stadium to applaud me as I make a speech. Everyone knows what I'm going to say, and it's going to be absolutely nothing. They're busting in people from anywhere, everywhere, other states, and they can't, no matter how many hot dogs they give away, they can't get enough morons to fill that stadium. So now they have made a tactical retreat, although it hasn't been announced, you trust me, and they're going to move to an indoor stadium, which is less than a third, 20,000 seats, and you know what? They're going to have to pay people to fill that up, and when the truth be told, most of these people are going to go there and, he's great, that moron. That they're going to watch this puppet, this clown, this court jester talk about himself, kiss his own image, make a complete jackass of himself, like that jackass of a wife of his, and they still won't find 20,000 people because they can't hire enough bands and get enough people. By the way, you have to show your ID 3 times to get into the photo ID, even though they're claiming that's not right, not fair. We'll see. And hey, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have Dr. Alan Keyes Greg W. Howard is with us, former police chief Steve Davis, and me, Stan Solomon, here on Talk to Solomon. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Do you have a cell phone? I do. In fact, everyone I know does. There's only one problem with cell phones. They're too damn high. You remember that guy. With me is Ted Williams, one of America's experts on cell phones, and a guy who's been responsible, along with his company, for hundreds of thousands of people saving money on cell phones. Ted, thank you for joining us. Talk to us.
Well, I tell you, Stan, right now, every dollar a person can save is a dollar earned. I'm telling you, in this economy, the price of gas and the unsure situation with employment, our business is tailor-made, and our cell phone packages are tailor-made to help everyone out.
All right, let's state a few facts. Unlimited service isn't unlimited service anymore, right or wrong?
It's right for a lot of the big carriers that you're familiar with, but our company has got truly unlimited talk, text, and web. We don't slow speeds down. We don't charge you after 1 or 2 gigabytes. It's truly unlimited, running on a nationwide network with roaming options if people want it.
And to get unlimited service, which many people use today in their business, you're going to spend $120, $130, $140. How do you compare?
We've got plans that start at $20 with rollover minutes, and our truly unlimited talk, text, and web plan is $59 a month. Again, no limits on the data, and the exciting thing is you can earn, as a customer, you can earn free service by simply referring a few customers to us. That earns you free service potentially for the rest of your life.
Now, let me make sure I'm hearing this correctly. Without paying money, without being in the business, simply, if you're a customer, at whatever the customer costs are, and I assume there are no deposits or that type of thing, that if you refer a few friends and they get service, you can earn free service for yourself?
Absolutely. It's, as you said, no contract, no deposit, no credit check. And we have many payment options. They can be auto billed, auto debited, phone in and make your payment over the phone, or a lot of options on how to pay the bill. But truly unlimited talk, text, and web available to you for $59 a month, and if you refer a few friends, totally free.
Now, 2 other questions. You said roaming is an option. How much does it cost?
If you have unlimited nationwide roaming, it would be an additional $20 if you need
you're
it.
still only $79.
Correct. But you may not need it because we are on the nationwide network.
Okay. And the second thing is, do you only have dial-up phones that you have to carry in a suitcase, or do you actually have the latest and greatest Droid phones?
We have Android phones are the hottest selling items right now on our site. But we also cater to those people that all they have a need for is a simple flip phone. So you can go from the top of the line phone to a free phone.
And are you competitive on those prices?
Absolutely. The phones, most people don't realize this, but the phone prices you hear on television are tied into contracts. We don't have a contract. So our phone, you buy it, you own it, and you pay the real price. The way you can find out how competitive it is simply ask any of those big 3 or 4 companies, what is the price of the phone if I don't have to sign a contract? And they'll tell you many of those Android phones are $400.
There you go. All right, folks, you can get more information by dialing 1-800-299-8362, or just go to cpnlive.com and click on the icon that says Get Free Phone Service. Free. Free. I can afford free. Can you?
Free is good.
Thanks.